How you been?
Who's asking?
Me, specifically.
I've been fantastic. Thank you.
You look great.
Oh, I've had a lot of work done.
No,
Thank you.
you come in, you're happy, you're always happy.
I am a happy woman. I'm happy. I'm very happy living here now.
All right, so you're in
Yeah.
Nashville now.
No, I'm in the outskirts where the older people.
But that's Nashville.
Yeah, yeah. Of course. Yeah.
If you're 40 minutes or so.
I'm not in Crane City.
Correct.
No, which I wanted to be. I tried to buy my friend's place in the Gulch, and she wouldn't sell. Smart, but I'm real happy here.
Well, we went up I did the Today Show a couple weeks ago, and we walked out of the building, walked about a block and a half down, and a homeless man spit on my wife.
Thank you. Well, and have a nice day.
And he said, "Tell Kathie I said hi." And that's how it ended. But
I bet I've given that man so much money, so many sandwiches, so many, whatever. Prayed for him. It's just gotten worse and worse and worse.
Do you miss waking up really early in the morning, though?
I still wake up really, really early. This morning was 2:30. And but the difference is I don't have to go. I can go back to sleep if I want. I've always loved. I think the best time of the whole day is a sunrise and a sunset, and I like to experience both. My quiet time in the middle of the morning is the only time in my life that, in the past, I didn't have dogs barking and babies needing me, and my son my son. That's a radical thing to say. My husband demanding sex at all hours. Those kinds of things.
That I'm not familiar with. The rest I understand a little bit. So when you look back at your career, because it's like you were having your prime multiple times, which is rare for anybody because you killed it in all these different seasons of your professional life. Like professionally, when do you look at it and go, that those few years were the good old days?
My good old days are right now. And that's what's so unbelievable about the life that I have now. People have always said to me, since I left the show with Regis in 2000 and left the show with Hoda 3 years ago, they go, how could you leave your dream job twice at the height of success? And I said, well, you're just assuming that those were my dream jobs. When I was growing up, there were no talk show hosts, especially no female ones. It wasn't even in the realm of possibility. I wanted to be Annette Funicello or Haley Mills. I wanted to be in Disney movies, and I wanted to write music, and I wanted to be on Broadway, and I wanted to write books. And now I get to do all those things, Bobby, but be my own boss. Well, I think a turning point for me was 3.5 years ago. I was in Israel, and I was shooting the amazing Nicole C. Mullen. I was directing for the first time. I've been in front of the camera for 55 years, and I've watched, and I've learned, and I've grown in so many different ways. But we were on the top of a beautiful mountain called Mount Arbel in Galilee, right on the Sea of Galilee. And she was up there, and she was singing her brains out, a song she and I had written called The God Who Sees. And she's this magnificent woman, just I couldn't wait to shoot her in cinematography. And she's just that gorgeous. And she just exudes God's love so much. And she was up there singing her brains out. And I felt like the Lord said so specifically and clearly to me, Kathie, everything I've ever taken you through in your life, from your mother's womb to this moment, was for right now. Every gift I've given you, but you had to hone, you had to learn, you had to, refine. Everybody wants everything instantly in our world today. But I'm telling you, when you've worked for something as long as I have, and then you have a moment like that, and it changed my life. And I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to spend the rest of my life bringing these unbelievable epic stories in the Bible to life through original songs and through with symphonic, magnificent, they're called oratorios, just like Tchaikovsky's Peter and the Wolf was an oratorio. It's basically an old ancient concept of storytelling, but in a symphonic bed of music that just moves you. And then a narrator takes you through the story, and then and I've always loved that. And so that's what this new movie, The Way, is about. It's 4 oratorios. The first one I wrote with Brett James and our friend Sal Oliveri. Second one was with a great, great writer. Remember the song, Barry Manilow had the hit, Doctor, My Woman. Remember, Trying to Get the Feeling Again. Wrote the second one, The God of His Word, with him. Third one was with Nicole, God Who Sees. And the fourth one was with these amazing musicians named Louis York. If you haven't had them on yet, Bobby, these guys are responsible for more hits with, you go back to Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars, Whitney, Madonna, Party in the USA. Those guys left that world independently, found each other as writing and producing partners. One's from St. Louis, one's from New York, so they call themselves Louis York. They are about the most genius guys in the music industry. And so we wrote the fourth oratorio code, The God of the Other Side. So it's all kinds of music, but some set in ancient times, some set, I have for a retelling, a modern day retelling of the prodigal son story. But I shot it in Franklin at a friend's farm, and I shot it with B.B. Winans plays the father. You know, Jimmy Allen is the son, and Claude Kelly from Louis York is the brother. And I just thought, I am in hog heaven now. I'm shooting. I get to direct these. Danny Goki is the host of the main talent on The God of His Word, and we couldn't go back to Israel to shoot because of COVID. And so we found these places and have you guys been to Moab, Utah? Any of you? It's like going to prehistoric times. You cannot believe it looks like a place I thought I was going to have to shoot, which is a place called Wadi Run or something like that in the southern Jordan to get scenery like this. There's a cliff. Remember when Thelma and Louise went off the cliff and at the end in that car? That's where I have a piano up there at the top of the cliff, shooting them singing and performing. And so everywhere in it, I took a piano, whether we were in the Sea of Galilee or we were on a cliff in Utah or we were at out in Mount Juliet at a vineyard. I said, how cool it would be just to sort of have a poetic thing of there's a piano there. You don't need to know why, but there's a piano there. And so I mean, when you're the boss, you get to see your vision through to the end, you know. Then if it's a success, you know, you thank God. You don't take a bow, you just thank him. If it's a disaster, it's just because something. I have more to learn. But I'll never again give one of my babies that I've worked so hard on into somebody else's hands. I've had my heart broken too many times.
And you can go to thewaymusic.com because September 1st, it's out. Right?
September 1st, the movie comes out.
That's what I'm saying. We're talking about the movie first. We'll get to the book in a second.
You can go to fathomevents.com. You know those Fathom things that a movie comes out for one day. It's usually to qualify for some sort of awards thing or something like that. And that's not what we're looking for. We're if somebody wants to give me an Oscar, it's fine.
You'll take it. You'll accept it. You're saying it now. You'll accept an Oscar.
You know what?
Okay.
At this point in my life, I'll say, you know what? I freaking deserve that. After all these years.
So the book, The God of the Way.
That's the companion to the film. Yeah, the movie was supposed to come out last Easter, and I had to get $300,000 more to finish it. So they weren't supposed to come out at the same time, but it worked out that way. So the book comes out August 30th. It's available for pre-order now. But like if I show you Abraham and Sarah and what they went through when God called them from the land of Ur, nobody knows where the land of Ur is. You read the Bible, if you read still the Bible, and you think, oh, the land of Ur. No, the land of Ur is modern-day Iraq. You know, these are the things you learn when you study rabbinically the Bible, like I do. You learn what all those kinds of things that give things texture and context. And I want to know the details. You know, so you can only tell so much about a song that I write that's about Abraham and Sarah called "The God of the How and When." And if people want to know more about them, read the book that goes along with it. It's almost like a study guide to go along with it. I'm sure you'll be spending many a weekend with this.
Every weekend, actually. I've already got it calendared out. I'm ready to go.
Well, you're more than welcome to come to our Fathom event. It's a full-fledged motion picture. It looks. Thank God for drones. Oh, I could have never afforded to be a director of films in the days when you needed to hire a plane and a cinematographer to go up in the plane or a helicopter and shoot that stuff. You know, now you send up your drone and you get the most unbelievable shots.
How many times have you seen it back?
Oh, I had to edit the whole thing.
So many times.
Many times, yeah.
And so do you, editing it so many times, do you start to go, okay, I've been doing it so much, I'm kind of lost as to exactly what I'm doing?
You know what? You do one of two things. You either fall in love all the more with your baby. You know, I just became a grandmother the other day for the 2.5 months ago, and every time I see him, I fall more in love with him because I get to know him better. And then the other good thing about editing is you find little things that you know could be better. But it's like anything in life. Eventually, your time is up, and then you just have to die to that, you know, in a sense, and just let it be because it is what it is, and just rejoice in it and see what God has for it. I just want it to change people's lives, Bobby.
The book is The God of the Way, out August 30th. And you mentioned the orchestra. You still sing wonderfully.
Oh, thank you.
You still sing just as beautiful as I've ever heard you sing.
When did you hear me sing?
Just,
in the shower the other morning. You weren't supposed to talk about that.
Listen, I was in the other room. When you were a child and your mom sang, your dad was a musician, if I'm correct,
right? He was a jazz saxophonist.
So with that, I mean, do you get an ear, and are you genetically blessed because you like how? Because again, you were so good so early on.
No, I wasn't.
You weren't, but
no,
but didn't you want to be a singer, though?
I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be Barbra Streisand. That didn't work out. She changed my life the first time I heard people who need people. You know, you just I dropped my jaw. And I just wanted to move people like that. And I spent years in front of a mirror trying to hit those notes. But then I realized how important it was just to be the best me I could be. The world is full of people who admire other people so much they try to be exactly that way. The world does not need any more copycats. We need more original, authentic people. And I came to understand how important that was. That's why I can't stand all this culture, this canceling in our culture of people, because we're not all alike. We were never meant to be all alike. God went to great, great trouble to make us all so completely unique down to our fingerprints. You know, and then we as a culture say, if you don't believe the way I believe, you don't think the way I think, you don't worship the way I think, you don't vote the way I think, you can't be on this planet. And I want to go, wait a minute, this planet that God made for us, every one of us, where'd you get that theology? That's really, really screwed up theology.
I'd like it if more people were like me, I'll be honest with you.
Huh?
I mean, more people like me, I think that would be pretty
I would
cool.
take a few more Boneses in the world.
Yeah, me too. So other than just, I'm the only one that we should copy.
Well, how about Jesus? Before you, Jesus...
Right now, though, in this room, I'm the only one. So, but back to you being a child,
Yes.
My personal feeling is you could sing, but maybe your sister was better and you were in such an advanced family that you didn't know.
No, you know what? I thought I could sing, and I went to my sister's vocal coach because my sister could have been a child wonder. I went and I sang a little song, and I think I did a few chords for her and everything, stretches, you know, whatever, arpeggios, whatever. And she looked at me very, very lovingly, and she goes, "Oh, Kathie, stick to harmony, honey." And it made me so mad that I went out and learned how to be a singer.
So when you're 16, what do you want to be when you grow up?
When I'm 16, I want to be writing and producing movies with some of the most brilliant producers in the world. I want to be on a mountaintop with my cinematographer and my creative director and my team that I do everything with now. I want to go.
You can't want that at 16. You don't know them yet.
Oh, you mean if I worked? You're speaking to my known 16.
Yeah, when you were 16, what did you want to be?
Exactly what I am now.
But you don't know that cinematographer when you're 16.
No, I wanted to make movies then.
Okay,
I wanted to
that's
write.
the answer. Got it. So
I said that.
No, you said you're a cinematographer.
No, I want to be making movies.
Okay.
You know, I didn't call. I didn't have a phone back then. I wrote, when I was about 8 years old, I wrote a movie. I saw a movie, and I wrote Walt Disney a letter.
You wrote Walt Disney a letter?
Yes, I did. It's called chutzpah in Yiddish. And it's like, you know, it's like I knew what I wanted to do. And I wrote him a letter, and I said, my name is Kathie Epstein, and and you need to meet me. And I think back on it now, and I go, what kind of audacity is that? I said, I want to make movies. I want to be in your movies. And you should meet me because I'm known for my expressions. And I got a letter back from him. It was a form letter, but an 8-year-old kid doesn't know. Signed Walt Disney. And he said, maybe someday you and I will work together, Kathie. I hope we will. And I think it's going to happen. He was really I know he didn't write it now, but back then I thought he did. I thought Tinkerbell wrote it or somebody did. And it was just amazing because years later I worked with Regis, and Regis and I owned half our show, and Disney owned the other. I ended up doing like 5 Disney films. My son made his debut along with Justin Timberlake in a movie called, you know, Model Behavior. You know, I did make movies with Walt Disney.
That's pretty cool. Do you think Walt Disney signed it himself, though?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't know?
No, I'm not. I did it at the time, though.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen a form letter either.
So when did your TV career start?
I had my big break, believe it or not, in 1977 at the age of 22 years old.
Doing what?
The lead singer on a show called Name That Tune.
I know it well.
Yeah, I had to learn 200 songs in 5 days.
Singing.
Yes, but only a little portion of
but
it.
Again,
like
you're
la la, and life is worth living.
You're a great singer,
but only worth living if you're la la. Right? I had to just la la out the title, and then somebody else go Buzz, Born free. They'd win $100,000 and I went home with like being paid scale. I didn't care. It made me, people knew me. It was my big break. And then I came here to Nashville for a year and I shot something called Hee Haw Honeys, spinoff from Hee Haw. That's where I met Dolly and the Gatlins and Barbara Mandrell and so many other people that became my friends and still are. Larry Gatlin plays Joshua in my movie The Way.
From all the way back then.
From all the way back
Wow.
then. You know, kids, today people want everything overnight. They don't know the value of hard work. My daddy had 3 jobs. My mom sold eggs door to door. You know, I was taught such a good work ethic. My daddy used to say, you know, I love you too much, honey, to deny you the privilege of making mistakes. But be willing to, because that's the way you're going to learn almost everything you need to know. And I never forgot that. And then when I was going in for an audition or something, he'd say, just be the best they ever had, hon. That's all.
That's awesome. Your dad sounded awesome.
And he was a jazz saxophonist. And I've had a thing for those guys ever since.
Well, so the book, The God of the Way, and then the next day, the movie is out,
2
right?
days later,
Is it
yeah.
So there must be 31 days
The
then.
30th is the book, but it's available now. That's The God of the Way. And the film is called The Way, and you're so sweet to let me talk about it. It comes out as a Fathom event on September 1st.
On the 1st. See, I would assume there were 30 days in this month, but I never mastered that knuckles thing where it's like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but you start on the up knuckle.
Wait a minute, it is the next day.
No, I don't know. I'm just going.
No, there's a 31st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, you know, I'm spinning in circles now. January, February. March is up. April is down. May up. June down. July up.
And
But
August is
down.
up because they both have 31. And then it goes.
I got by the knuckles game, guys. Didn't remember it. Kathie Lee, you are a real treat, and I hope this thing is everything you want it to be. I hope it fills your cup in all the ways, because it doesn't sound like your cup will be filled with money or prestige or fame. It sounds like you want to change people's lives, and I think that's really fantastic.
Well, I've always been a huge fan of yours. Thank you so much for having me. And boy, you did marry a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Am I? Is there something I'm missing? Are you guys broken up? What happened?
No, can you imagine though? I reveal it here.
Goodness.
No, we're actually.
It reminds me of the worst thing that ever happened. I've got to learn to stop doing this.
What happened?
Oh, the worst thing ever. First time it happened, it was with James Taylor and Sting. I like to throw them around. I'm interviewing them on the show with Hoda. And I say to James, because I've followed the whole Taylor family since forever, right? How's Alex? Because I'd known he was sick. And James looks at me and goes, he's dead. I swear. I'm going, oh, dear God. Oh, dear Jesus. I'm so sorry.
That stinks.
I'm so sorry. Now, here's the worst one. If there's a worse one, it's this one. About 2 years ago, 3 years, I don't know. No, it's more than that, because I was on with Hoda, and I've been gone 3 years. One of my favorite people in the entire world is Marty Short, right? Who's greater than Marty Short? There's nobody. Love him, and I've always admired everything about him, but you don't hear a lot about Marty in the rags or anything. He just does his work, and he makes you laugh, and he makes you happy. I always loved him and his wife, Nancy. Adored them. And so I'm going on and on about how do you do it, Marty? You guys have one of the most incredible marriages. In Hollywood, nobody has marriages like that. You know, and you're never in the trades, you're never in all of that stuff. Well, the show ends, and Marty, because he didn't want to embarrass me, comes up to me so kindly, says, Kathie, it was obvious you had no idea, but Nancy died of cancer last year. And I went, oh my God, Marty, I've got to stop asking people how somebody is. Because there's a chance these days, the older I get, there's a chance they're not around anymore. And I just, I mean well.
Well, rest assured, we're doing wonderfully. I just always feel weird taking, like, people are surprised that I have a pretty wife all the time because they look at me. No, but they're like, congratulations on that. And I'm like, I don't know how to respond to that, but I will say thank you. That is very kind.
I would say that she got a hunk of burning love is what she got.
You'd be the only one. We walk into places, Kathie, and they look at us, and they'll look at her and go, oh, she's pretty. They look at me, then they look back at her to make sure that she's kind of all right. And they just don't understand.
No, here's the thing. You know what your secret is? You are Clark Kent.
Well, I take my glasses off. I still suck. Look.
No, you are one hot.
Okay.
You always.
Okay.
You
Kathie
are.
Lee, come on.
No, I'm not going to take that. I'd say you're right. I wouldn't. I'd say yeah, You're better than average, but no, I think you're unbelievably attractive.
Well, I appreciate
You could
that.
be my son or grandson, but that's
that
okay.
makes me feel well. Listen, here's what we're gonna do. The God of the Way.
Let's get back to God.
The book, yes, and then 2 days later, everyone should check out
your
the
knuckles, folks,
everyone,
for a theater near
remember
you.
that July and August, those knuckles are both ups, right? And then followed by the movie. Listen, I love you. I love to see you so happy and so fulfilled. I think that's all.
Thank you, sweetie. I want to thank Nashville and all of Tennessee for welcoming me the way they have. People have just been, makes me cry to think about it. They've been unbelievably kind and great. I'm so grateful for it.
Well, there
thank
she
you.
is.
Thank you,
Kathie Lee
everybody.
Gifford. Kathie, thank you very
bless
much.
y'all. Thanks. Thank you.
It's a Bobby Bones show.